Hello, hello, Gemini. It's your turn for your reading for the month and year of 2020. Month of January, first off. I hope you all are doing well. We are headed into, 2020, and there's a lot going on with the different transit. Like May, it's headed into the North and South Node, Gemini, and in the North Node and Sagittarius in the South Node. So that could affect you in some instance, especially if you have that North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius. But even as a Gemini, that could affect you in some way. Also, too, Jupiter is in Capricorn, so a lot of Capricorn type energy. But let's get into January 1st, and then I was going to do, what's going on with 2020 for you guys. All right, so you have the Page of Cups, you have the Six of Cups, you have the Seven of Swords, Empress, Two of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Three of Cups, and Nine of Swords in reverse. All right, so I feel like a lot of cups going on, a lot of love, a lot of emotions for January. Maybe it's because you don't maybe not know exactly where you're headed, but I do feel like with the Page of Cups and the Six of Cups, this could have to do with, maybe it has to do with family involvement. Maybe it has to do with love of a family, love of kids. But I do feel like surprises in some way concerning family situations or dynamics. Maybe it's about something that you've been investing emotionally. Just love flowing to you, I'm feeling. And then we have Seven of Swords, so that's usually uh, trickery energy. Maybe in some way someone's holding a lot. You could be feeling recently, a lot on your shoulders, a lot on your plate. Maybe a trickery with, the Empress, which that's either Taurus, Virgo, basically someone who is in authority. Um, you could be having difficulties, I'm not saying for sure or not, with someone in authority, or it's about not investing in something that is sketchy or that sounds too good to be true. Because I know with Gemini, it's like, usually when people say it's too good to be true, it may not be correct. So maybe that's what's going on with that. But the Empress, I feel like that's more about, it could be someone you're dealing with, like I said, a Taurus, or it could be just the energy of, feeling empowered. But I also feel like with the Seven of Swords right by the Empress, it could indicate there's things that maybe you're carrying on or holding on to that's not really helping you grow. And I feel like, it's all about understanding, what things are you willing to invest in, and investing time and energy in resources and things that are going to benefit you, things that are going to help you grow. I also feel like with the Two of Pentacles, there could be some things you're balancing out or thinking of, things like maybe not necessarily on the fence about when it comes to love and relationships, when it comes to things that you want to experience. So I feel like you have your options open, but also too, I feel like there's this need to, really go within and really, maybe release things when it comes to situations in relationships that aren't working. This could also indicate past relationships or past things that didn't work, and work on what's working for you now in regards to relationships and to love. Because I feel like you're, when I think of Two Cups, especially dealing with a Gemini, that's kind of like, you know, maybe you have two ideas, two things you want to work on, and you're not sure when it comes to love and when it comes to relationships. So I think it's about getting your options down to maybe one or two things. And I feel like it's about releasing those things that aren't working and, let go of the toxicity, maybe within yourself or something in regards to love or something that's causing toxicity, and learning to grow from where you're at in some way, like a garden. I'm thinking of a garden for some reason. So it's about blooming where you're planted, I'm feeling with. All right, so I feel like January is pretty much a good time to, it is a new month, a new year, about, really looking at what you're investing, really looking at what are you putting your time and energy in, whether it's a family dynamic, whether it's love or relationships, and, really looking at things from a different perspective and releasing things that aren't working in regards to love and relationship, or things that you want to create or grow more into something that can be more what you would like life to be like. So, feeling that for January, and let's get into 2020. Alright, let's continue. Anyways, for the year 2020. So, like I said, North Node is going to be in your sign, but like if you don't have that, it may not affect you as much. But I still feel like if you have North Node in Gemini, or just placements of Gemini, it's still going to affect you. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here, let's move it there. And let's put that right there. Do this a little bit different, more organized. Let's see. Alright, so January, Gemini, you have the Seven of Swords. So again, that kind of energy. Starting out with January, I just feel like there's a lot of things that really need to be figured out, or there's a lot of things maybe you're trying to figure out or will figure out, when it comes to, what things you want to carry on and what things you want to bring within 2020, and what things, are you letting go, and, what's maybe a destructive way of doing things, or maybe I'm thinking destructive behaviors in some way, because it's like usually the Seven of Swords has to do with deceit, lies, things that aren't I don't know, mischievousness, craftiness. So maybe there's just some things you need to deal with in January, or basically this year. I feel like, that really needs to be figured out. I don't know why I'm getting that. And then in February, you have the Chariot. So I feel like there's forward moving on something, especially this year. I was getting the indication about the yin and yang. Even before I started, I feel like a lot of you have been dealing with, how to balance those part of yourselves, the masculine, the feminine, and how can you implement those in your future, and how can you balance those out and juggle them out in order to move on a direction. I feel like a lot of you had to take on, the I don't know why I'm getting the mother aspect to yourself, and the father aspect. And Capricorn is kind of like the grandfather, is the father of the zodiac. So maybe it's about recognizing, the true essence of yourself when it comes to being the procreator of your life, when it comes to things that aren't really working for you, and be willing to, let go of something that's maybe crippling you or not really helping you in some way, or walking away from something, whether it's a job or a situation or relationships that aren't really benefiting you or moving me forward. And I feel like that's kind of the indication with January and February is, taking on the chariot as being the co-creator of your life, being, the father or the mother to yourself. Maybe you never got that guidance in some way, and really taking everything as what they are and going with the flow of things. So in March, you have the King of Wands, which I feel like you're moving forward in a direction, and you're, trying to critique things and where you want to move forward. It's all about, taking on the. Well, I think I see this card as the King of Wands as a masculine, but I also see it as a feminine, and really owning who you are as an individual, whether you're male or female, and really putting on the air about you that you can do what seems impossible, and that you have the ability to, within yourself, be that father to yourself, be that inner child and that inner mother in some way, the duality of both and all, and really balance it out. And I feel like in March, it may surprise you, where you'll be in March, of, owning who you are and taking back your power. And so, April, we have the Tower card. So, the Tower card, could be shakeups, could be, things unfolding, things, coming to balance in some way. I always look at the Tower card as a way of an indication that things things may happen, things may shake up, things may come to a halt. But I feel like in this way, this is more of a positive Tower card. Like, it's giving you the tools you need to clear the clutter, to clear your mind. Maybe it is just reorganizing things when it comes to maybe your power struggles. But I do see like a storyline coming in the year of 2020, a storyline where in order to get here, you need to clear the clutter. And then I think that's when the Tower come in and really start, working from scratch. Whether it is moving in a direction where you have to start from scratch so you can in some way build your empire, because it's like right by the King of Wands. So that's in March, April. So I do feel like there could be little shakeups, nothing major. I just feel like it's about your direction and, reorganizing things instead of just a completely Tower moment, emotional. I just feel like it's more about your foundation of things and really trying to, you know, start from scratch and reorganize things in the direction that you want them to go. So may you have the Five of Swords, which is interesting because 5 is including May. So I feel like this is going to be a good month for you to really own up to what's not working for you. 5 of Swords is like cutting through the bullshit, clearing out things that aren't working. Maybe it's about, with this Tower moment, it's going to give you the tools how to clear things out, of how to own up to maybe your responsibilities of, if it is a job situation, if it is involving people, maybe really coming into understanding of how to deal with these difficulties in some way. And then June, you have the Queen of Wands. It's really weird because you have the King of Wands, the first part, and then the Queen of Wands. So maybe in some way it's indicating Queen of Wands as this feminine energy. So you're taking on these two through the first half of um, 2020. So I feel like it's coming into your full potential by June. So it's about being courageous, standing in your power, standing in your truth, and growing from where you are. You know, kind of like what January was saying is, and you know, that's what I'm getting out of this month too, the year, is, you know, growing from where you're planted and then expand on that. That's what I feel like with the Queen of Wands. It's indicating, you know, grow from where you're planted so you can expand. And then July, you have the 10 of Wands. So that's pushing through your limits, pushing through barriers that maybe you didn't think were possible. Tens are also about completion. So there could be a completion, there could be a new cycle coming around for you guys and helping you to continue on, to persevere. And then August, you have the Two of Wands. So this could be travel, this could be move, it could be something that you're planning, something that you're coming to really grab a hold of something. Maybe it's a truth in some way to help you move forward. Maybe it's recognizing that, you know, you have all the capacity of moving forward and the tools you need. And maybe you get clarity in some way the month of before to move forward in a direction. Okay, so that was July. September, it's weird because Virgo had this too in their reading. So September, you have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So I feel like it's recovering. You know, you could be taking some time off in some way. It's about recovering, you know, releasing things maybe in some way, but I feel like it's more about recovering, getting in your happy place to recover mentally, physically, emotionally, to really, you know, strategize your next move. All right, so October, you have the Ace of Wands. So I really feel for some reason excitement. I feel like new anticipation of what to come. One is all about, you know, usually ones are about beginnings, ones are about you. Um, it could be a new beginning. I feel excitement, like I said. So I feel like there's something good, maybe good news, maybe good uh, beginnings of something happening in the month of October. All right, so November, you have the King of Swords. So I feel like this is another indication, you know, you're in your power. The King of Swords, you know, he could be serious. He could be, you know, you could be dealing with an air sign, another air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. It's about someone who takes charge for their life and speaks their truth. Maybe there's some truths that you'll be speaking in the month of November. Maybe it's about taking on, you know, this air about you that you're willing to speak clear, not cunning with your words. If it was in reverse, I would have trouble with that because it's about clearly speaking your truth and clarity coming in, maybe. And then December, you have the Three of Cups. So that's a celebration of some kind, you know, maybe with friends, family, co-workers possibly. Celebration to, you know, for all the hard work that you've put it in this year, about, you know, coming into your own, stepping into your power, especially with the Gemini and North Node. You know, I feel like there's a lot of, you know, air and fire energy I'm feeling with that. So I do wish you guys the best for 2020. Bye bye.